And we're back. 5:12 is the time. Let's get straight over to the traffic center right now. Drew Harmon following a hot spot this morning on BART.
Yes, indeed, James. We are dealing with some delays because of an obstruction on the tracks near the Walnut Creek station. BART officials reporting delays now climbing up to about 30 minutes in the direction from Walnut Creek towards Daly City and SFO because of an obstruction on the track. BART officials say they're working to clear that, but so far we haven't been gotten confirmed what that obstruction may be. Could be some equipment or other issues on the tracks or just some debris. So right now dealing with 30-minute delays heading from the Walnut Creek station towards San Francisco because of that obstruction on the track. Delays and some earlier Caltrans work on northbound 101 near Bernal has been picked up completely. James?
All right, Drew, thank you much. 5:14 is the time. The other developing story this morning, Governor Schwarzenegger took a break from his vacation to fly back to Sacramento yesterday and sign 128 bills into law and vetoed just 9 of those that were on his desk. One of the bills signed into law makes hanging nooses on someone else's property or at a school or a workplace a misdemeanor now, punishable, that is, by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $5,000. The law, which takes effect January 1st, will not ban displays by a homeowner on their own property. Meanwhile, the governor also signed a bill into law yesterday making participating in a betting pool punishable by a fine of up to $250. In the past, people who organized or placed bets in office sports pools could be charged with a misdemeanor or a felony punishable by up to a year in prison. That's been taken off. It's been lessened now. You'll just have a fine. The legislation was introduced after 2 women were charged for operating a football pool totaling about $50 at an Elks Lodge. The law takes effect on January 1st as well. We're also following the latest with wildfires this morning. They are burning. Mother Nature lending a bit of help, though, to firefighters working to contain a series of wildfires in Northern California. A lightning storm late Wednesday and early yesterday sparked dozens of new fires, but fire officials say that rain showers later yesterday did help them make some progress against those blazes. CAL FIRE spokesperson says a large complex of wildfires in Shasta County is now 25% contained. It did, though, consume about 22 square miles, so it's still rather large. A nearby series of blazes in Lassen National Forest is also about 40% contained this morning. That fire has burned more than 15 square miles. The weather is expected to continue to be more favorable for firefighters as we head into the weekend, so that's at least some good news. Meanwhile, Kentucky firefighters are heading to California to help fight these wildfires, so we're getting some support now from Kentucky's Division of Forestry. A spokesperson there says a crew of about 40 firefighters from different agencies are going to be heading to the Redding area where they'll help with fire suppression efforts up there in Shasta County. They also say wildfires have not posed a problem for Kentucky this summer, and so that's why they can spare those crews. All right, at 5:16, let's get a look at the forecast and see how warm things will be getting this weekend, because we are going to be warming things up. Good morning, Ev.
Much warmer this weekend, James. So we're going to show you that 7-day in just a second. We'll get to today's forecast, which is pretty similar to what we've been used to, but changes certainly at the coast. 5:18 is the time right now. We're going to send it back to James.
All right, Ed, thank you very much. Now to some headlines around the Bay this morning. One man is recovering this morning, and police are searching for another. Take a look at that. You see that red car, and there's a white car in front of it? Well, apparently there was a road rage incident involving the drivers of these 2 cars in Vallejo. According to police, the driver of the red car and the driver of the white car bumped into each other several times on Pueblo Way. When the cars came to a stop, the driver of the white car got out and shot the driver of the red car, and then the suspect drove off. That driver who was shot was taken to the hospital. Apparently, he's going to be fine. He's going to survive, but police officers are looking for the other driver who pulled the trigger. If you have any information, give police a call. In the meantime, in Oakland, court documents claim that Yusef Bey, the man charged with the murder of journalist Chauncey Bailey, was also involved in the killing of his own brother. Bey's brother, Antar, was killed back in 2005. Another man, Alfonso Phillips, is serving life in prison for that murder. But in appeal documents filed last week, Antar Bey's wife claims she got a call from Yusef Bey saying his brother would soon be killed or in jail. Bey has pleaded not guilty in the deaths of Bailey and 2 other men. We'll have more on that story as it develops. All right, 5:19 is the time. We've got to take another break, but we'll be right back in just a moment, so stay with us. Let's go outside, give you another shot of the Bay Bridge span. You can see how the commute's moving across the top without any problem. The upper deck there heading into San Francisco. And so far so good. We'll have another check of traffic coming up in just a moment. And don't forget, we do have that hot spot brewing on BART. If you're in Walnut Creek, Antioch, Pittsburgh, Pleasant Hill, any of those stations, and you're getting on BART to head towards San Francisco, you've got about, 15 minutes to a half-hour delay right now. There's some debris on the tracks, and that's what's slowing up your commute on that section of the BART system. So keep that in mind. We'll have the latest updates with Drew coming up. Just a minute.
Welcome back to the KRON 4 Morning News. Dealing with a delay on BART, a 30-minute delay from heading in the direction from Walnut Creek towards San Francisco because of an obstruction on the track. BART officials say they're working to get that one cleared up. And now just getting words from the Lafayette station headed towards the Pittsburgh Bay Point direction, getting delays of about 10 minutes now. So be aware of this. We're keeping a close eye on it. But right now, those delays continue to mount up. James?
All right, Drew, thank you much. Now let's take a quick look at your 7-day forecast, see how things are going to be shaping up today on this Friday, TGIF, right? And then look at the weekend. We're warming things up, so if you've got any plans outdoors, should be a nice one. We've got, 80 degrees on tap for today inland. We've got 68 around the bay, 65 along the coast. And then for the weekend, we warm things up. Well, look at that, a good, 12, 13 degrees inland. Saturday and Sunday both, you're in the low 90s inland, and about 74, 76 or so around the bay. Upper 60s along the coast, so you'll stay pretty cool around the coast. In fact, look, the next 7 days out, we're looking at mid to upper 60s along the coast, so your temperatures don't change a whole lot. It's really the inland spots that'll be doing the big shift up and down. Once we get back up into the low 90s, we sort of stay there for the next 7 days. Isn't that nice? So it'll be nice, warm, finally feel like summer. A lot of folks have been missing that sun, that heat. Been a bit too chilly for folks. So anyway, we've got some relief coming up. All right, we're going to take a quick break here, but we'll be back with more in a moment. We've got some top stories that we're following this morning. First off, of course, we're waiting for that Labor Department report on jobless numbers for the month of July, and it's expected to show that the number of people laid off has slowed a bit. Could this mean we're finally turning things around and working our way out of this recession? We'll take a closer look at that. And we're also following the latest with the Cash for Clunkers program, hugely popular here in the Bay Area. A lot of folks were worried that the program was out of money and they wouldn't be able to take advantage of it. Well, turns out the Senate has passed now what it needed to do to get an additional $2 billion into the program. So it's still up and running now. Feel free to take those clunkers in and trade them in for some cash and a nicer, better, more fuel-efficient car. And we're also following the latest, too, with those two journalists that have just returned from North Korea. One of the family members has finally spoken to the media and given us a better idea of what the two had to endure here for the last 6 months or so as they were held captive by North Korean officials accused of crossing the border illegally and, well, crimes against the state of North Korea. In any case, there you see former President Bill Clinton. He was the one who was responsible for securing their release and bringing them home. More on all of these stories coming up in just a moment, so stay with us. Don't forget, we're also following the latest with that hotspot on BART. Here's a live picture of 101 in Millbrae. Traffic here is moving fine, but it's the BART connection headed towards SFO that's in trouble right now. It's that Walnut Creek ride all the way into Daly City and ultimately SFO that's got something on the tracks. We're not quite sure, but it's causing 30-minute delays. Again, from Walnut Creek to SFO. We'll have the latest with Drew coming up in just a moment. Stay with us.